Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about the transport of molecules across a cell membrane. Yesterday we talked about concentration. That's where we discussed the Kool-Aid single packets. If I put one in a bottle, it's going to have a normal concentration of color and sugar. If I add multiple packets, it's going to then have a darker color and a higher sugar concentration. If I have less packets or half of one, it's going to have a lower concentration of sugar. It's going to have a lower concentration of color. So what we're going to focus on today is two main types of passive transport. Or two main types of transport. Passive transport, which does not require energy, and active transport, which does require energy. Today, we're focusing on passive transport, where it does not require energy. That includes diffusion, osmosis, and facilitated diffusion. Active transport does require energy. Now, active transport, it says in the name, if I'm active, that means I'm running around and I'm using energy. So active transport requires energy. These include molecular transport, endocytosis, and exocytosis. Remember, if you need to pause this to write, please do so, and then go ahead and hit play and move on. So we're going to focus on passive transport first. So the first type is diffusion. This is the diffusion of small molecules. We said yesterday that small molecules can kind of sneak their way through the cell membrane with no problem, like oxygen, carbon dioxide, even those are the two small molecules. Osmosis is the movement of water. Now, osmosis is a small molecule as well, so it can easily fit through the cell membrane. The last one is facilitated diffusion. Facilitated means to help. So we need help moving things across our cell membrane. We talked about this yesterday with the door. The door was something that helped move larger items. So that's going to be with the help of a protein. So we only are going to be using big molecules for facilitated diffusion. Now, when we talk about concentration levels, this is where it comes in. We are moving from an area of high to low concentration. So we're going to have a lot of molecules in one area, and we want them to kind of move on over to that lower side, that lower concentration side. We want to even everything out. Think about this like a slide, because again, on a slide, I start at the top and I go down the slide. I'm not using any energy. So again, I start at the top of the slide and I go down. If you want to draw a little makeshift slide and have an arrow pointing down, I recommend doing that because again, going down a slide requires no energy. And we're going from an area of high to low. High top of the slide, low at the bottom. So with diffusion, if you notice, all the molecules are starting off in an area of high concentration, then are slowly spreading out throughout this square. We're going from an area of high to low. So these molecules are now evenly spread out throughout the cell. A really good thing that I like to think about is diffusion is like a fart. Okay, if someone farts as they walk into the classroom, the whole class is not going to be able to smell it right away. Okay, it's going to be in that area of high concentration. Excuse me. It's going to be in that area of high concentration, and then it's going to travel throughout the classroom. Let's see if my picture works again. So it's going to slowly spread, and then it's going to start hitting the second row, and the third row, and the fourth row. And everybody's going to be like, oh my God, what's that smell? We can use something nicer, like if someone sprays perfume or if we lit a candle. Same idea. You don't smell it right away, but it takes a little while for it to diffuse through the room. After a few minutes, it's equally spread out. So diffusion is the same thing like that. So on your paper, you're going to write high concentration and then low concentration. We're going from an area of high where we have a lot of molecules, and they are going to an area of low. Now, the line here represents a cell membrane that's semi-permeable. Remember, we talked about this yesterday, that some can move. So this is saying that all these green dots are able to move across the cell membrane. Okay. So when we talk about diffusion, there are actually things that can speed up that rate of diffusion. So we can speed up how quickly those molecules are moving across a cell membrane. And if we're talking about perfumes or farts, how quickly we can get those actually moving through a classroom as well. Okay, so there are several things that can affect how we diffuse things. So the first is going to be temperature, and this is kind of what you guys see happening up here. In this picture, we have a cup with hot liquid. In this picture, we have a cup with cold liquid. We notice the food coloring is moving a lot faster through that hotter liquid. So the hotter the cell is, or the hotter it is, the molecules are going to move faster, meaning it's going to diffuse faster. The colder it is, the molecules are going to move slower. So diffusion will be slower. Now, eventually, over time, this whole cup, the cup of water will turn green. Same with this one, but the hotter liquid will happen a lot faster. I can also speed up this process by stirring it. Think about if I have my Kool-Aid packet in my water bottle. If I just let it sit there, it's going to take a very long time to diffuse through. However, if I stir it or shake it, it's going to cause those molecules to move faster, therefore faster diffusion. So if I stirred up these cups real quick, they would turn green instantly. And finally, the concentration. More molecules, more bumping. So same thing. If I added 10 drops to a cup of water and 5 drops to a cup of water, the one with more drops is going to diffuse faster because there's more color within it. Okay, so we are going to stop there for our notes today. And you guys are actually going to open up your packets to page 13. So on page 13, again, if you need to hit pause to get there, we are going to practice diffusion. So what you guys are going to do is you have before pictures, and you guys are drawing after pictures. So at the top of your paper, I want you guys to write high to low, because again, we're going from an area of high to low. And then I want you guys underneath that to write equal. So we can, I want you guys to write high to low, and then everything is equal. So what that means is that my before picture of my stars, they're all over here. My after picture, my stars should be spread out equally across this whole square. So I have 2, 4, 6, 7 stars. So I should have 7 stars spread out across this entire thing. Over here, same thing. I need to go from an area of high to low. So in my after picture, I want my sides to be equal. So I should have an equal number of dots on each side, but you have to pay attention. Does the semi-permeable membrane allow the circles to cross? Okay. In some of the pictures below, they might not allow them to. So you need to pay attention to that before and after picture. Tomorrow we will go through this in class, so make sure that you guys have that completed. If you finish this, please make sure that models 1 and 2 are completed in your packet and that your intro to cells Ed puzzle is done. All right, thanks guys. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.